Hey everyone, welcome back to this episode of Kart Crazy. We're finishing up our project build on our 2005 Club Car Precedent. Today there's two major things I'd like to accomplish. One is getting the rear seat kit installed, and two, we're doing a lithium battery conversion kit on this. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll show you the step-by-steps and what to do to get that done. It's real simple, shouldn't take long at all. So come along for the ride, let's get started. Alright, here's our conversion kit. It consists of two batteries and a charger. And I believe there's also a meter in there to monitor the battery state of charge. So we'll tear into these boxes and see what we got. So normally I joke around a lot about not following directions, and although that's true for me most of the time, this is one part where you really want to pay attention. And whenever you're dealing with voltage and things like that, you really got to know, not necessarily what you're doing, but you really got to pay attention as to, just like this on the top here. On a traditional golf cart, batteries are hooked in a series, meaning positive to negative, and so on. But with these batteries, they're hooked in parallel. In other words, we're going to put two batteries in, but we're going positive to positive. So it's a little bit different, so you definitely want to pay attention to that. Still not overly complicated, but you just wouldn't want to throw them in without at least taking a peek at the directions or the top of the battery. These are super light. Obviously, lithium batteries are way lighter, which is awesome, and we only need two versus our traditional 4 that come with the cart originally, and some of the newer carts come with 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove our 4 traditional batteries, and we'll drop in the new lithiums, button up a couple things. There is one thing we have to do for the onboard charger, and I'll show you how to do that because you have to bypass the onboard charger. That's real simple, and then we'll be good to go. So what I'm doing now is unplugging where the factory charger plugs into this harness, and we have to install what's called this bypass cable. So this bypass cable will plug into there, and then it'll plug into the negative side of the battery so we can use our lithium charger. Well, it can't get much simpler than that. Basically, we're replacing 4 batteries with 2. You do have the option to add on and do 2 more batteries in here. It doesn't give you more power, it does give you more range. They say about 25 to 30 miles on a charge with these lithiums, which is plenty for what we've got going on. I really should probably clean up these battery cable ends. I just wanted to get everything snugged in here and see. I might even replace the battery cables, to be honest with you, with a little heavier gauge. But let's flip it out of the tow run position. We'll turn our key on and see if we've got any action here. There it goes. Okay. So, probably go out and go for a little test drive here, make sure everything's working good, but that was about as simple as it gets. That might even be simpler, it is simpler than putting in the traditional batteries just because the weight is so much lighter. We'll get our battery hold downs back in here and get those held down just so they're not flopping around in here like a fish out of water, but super straightforward, super easy. So there it is, lithium conversion. Ideally, I would have waited until after I had the tail lights put in to do the rear seat, but my son was here to help me, and I took advantage of that because it is all completely assembled and it would have been a little heavy to try to do by myself. So I can work around that and slide those tail lights in. underneath the seat. That's not a big deal, but pretty straightforward on that. It's got just a couple of bolts on each side with some nice brackets, really solid. And then there's a bracket that goes across on the back side that sits in that old bagwell area, and you just bolt that in. So basically 4 bolts on the bottom, 2 bolts on the top, and it's completely mounted. So now we just got to put the seat cushions on. There we go. We got the rear seat installed. It is a flip seat, of course. You can flip that up. I went with a little nicer seat this time. This one actually kind of wraps around and encapsulates the passengers just a little bit, help them feel a little bit more safe. It's coming together pretty nice. Okay, so after doing a little more research and realizing that this thing is just at a major angle, in fact, if you were a rear passenger, number one, it's some serious height to step up into the rear compartment. But number two, it's almost like you're ready for takeoff, which would be fine if we were going to fly this thing to the moon. But I built it as a neighborhood cruiser, not so much for space travel. So got to looking and actually realized that this bracket, I'm using my pointer here, hopefully you can see, is actually supposed to be flat. And it's a magnet, of course. And this is actually got some height to it. In other words, this spring should be right down on this axle and not have any height to it on a 4-inch lift. On a 6-inch lift, it has some height, and I think they sent me the brackets for the 6-inch lift. So I've emailed the company, and hopefully we'll hear back from them soon and get that resolved. So one last look. Did a couple of minor things off camera. Got my covers bolted down, got my floor mat in, even though I got my dirty feet on it already, but I got that kind of a red outlined floor mat. I don't have it all the way in properly, I guess. I see a couple bulges in there, but got that. Got my forward and reverse switch mounted. Got the rocker panels bolted in. I did go through and put those little plugs in all the excess holes. Kind of clean that up, gives that a nice look. Did not get the bumper mounted yet. I still have the stock bumper in. So it's coming along good. Well, if you haven't noticed by now, I'm going to have to officially change the name of this cart from Mater to Tomater because it's now officially red, and we've got a lot of red accents going on with it. This is probably going to be the last video in this series. It's been a really fun project for me. I really enjoy doing this, and I really enjoy bringing you all along for the journey. I appreciate all the comments and suggestions that everyone makes, and looking forward to the next build. So if you have something in mind, feel free to let me know or put it in the comments. But that's going to wrap it up for this series on this build. We'll see you next time on Kart Crazy.